Welcome to Kimcast Art. If you're new to the channel, we're glad to see you. Make sure you subscribe and like and click that bell so you get all the notifications so you can come to the future lives. And it'll also show the most current videos that I post up. And feel free to leave comments. We definitely can use some more comments in the comment section. If you got questions, feel free to ask. That's what we're here for. If you are new, there's a how-to playlist, which is a really good place to start. And I did that list for people that are total beginners or just beginning to paint, or you just want to refresh a little bit of things, or changing styles maybe or something. Feel free to check that out too. I always check the questions. I read all the questions for that matter. All comments. I usually read all of them. So don't feel like you can leave a comment and not get an answer, because you will. So let's see who's going to show up tonight. I'm a couple minutes into it. Surprised Ken's not here yet. Oh, I think I know why too. I didn't email him. Uh-oh. I'm going to email him. I forgot. Well, let me see. I can't believe I forgot it. Hi, Kirsten. How you doing, sweetie? I was wondering if he was coming. Trinity texted me, said she was going to try to be here too. Is Sonia coming on too? Is it Sonia or Sanja? I always seem to forget. There's Ken. I just sent you an email, buddy. I didn't know if you got the message or not. Sonia, is she coming on? I don't see her on my subscription list, so she hasn't subscribed, I don't think. Or if she did, maybe she unsubscribed. Oh, is that her? Is that Sonia? Sonny, is that you, Sonia? Because I want to give you mod. Okay. Let me get your mod set up for you. There we go. Let me get your mod set up for you. Okay, there you go. Now you're a mod. Now you can click links and all that good stuff. Makes it a lot easier for you. Or if somebody pesters you, you can do something about it. Yeah, Trinity said she was going to try to get on. I'm not sure if she was still working or on her way home or what. Velvet said the same thing, basically. And someone else. Caitlin, maybe. I'm not sure if Caitlin's working. Yeah, she was working this afternoon, so she should be out by now. Your mother just got home too? Okay. Yeah, I sent her an invitation. What are they talking about, Ken? They're always talking about Florida about something. I even put my green screen up tonight. First time in months. Well, it's been up. I just never slid it over before for a while. I think y'all might be sick of looking at the other part of the studio. A lot of people's cars are getting repoed. I'm not surprised where the economy is and everything. I think that's probably about everywhere, not just Florida, though. I'm not sure why Florida would have more repos than anybody else. First, people talk about the job market being so plentiful. It's really not as plentiful as what people make it out to be. Because a lot of places went out of business. All of these small businesses had to close down because they didn't have enough money to keep going. Yeah, I think you told me that he was coming to Florida. What part of Florida is he coming to, Ken? He goes to down further south, like Tampa or Clearwater or something, Fort Lauderdale. I'm assuming he's retired now, or he's just retiring, if I remember right. Sounds weird. Let me see if I can figure out why. I guess I can put it up a little bit more. How about that? Is that any better? Should be okay. I'll turn it up a little bit. How's that? That should be a little bit better. How's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. It was on automatically adjust volume. I put it on manual and turned it up, so maybe that helps. Maybe I wasn't talking loud enough. It could be your phone. Because this is my most expensive mic here. This is Audio Technica, which is a real pricey one. Normally it's pretty good. Ken, and the other places you go to, the other lives, have you seen Recon lately? Excuse me. Okay, it's your phone then. We did see 6 people here. Now there's only 3. Wow. I was hoping Mackenzie would come back on. So I'd like to ask her how her new job's doing. Well, normally when I text him, he doesn't seem to answer my text. I mean, he wants me to text him on the phone, and I do when I'm having a live, but he's not answering me. He's still not coming, so. She got a job working for a cell phone company that repairs cell phones. Believe it or not, she gets like really good money. I think she said she gets like $24 an hour. They put her through some training, got a certification for one thing, and I think she's doing another training now to get certified to do something else in it. The clock, you hear my clock ticking? I don't know how, heck, I can't hear it. It might be the air conditioner behind me. That's probably what it is. Yeah, I was thinking that might be a good job for me. I can probably sit down at a desk or a bench, fix the phones that way. Have a nice sit-down job. The clock, I can't even hear the clock in here. I know I have a clock up here, but it's a battery-operated one, but I can't hear it. I hear the air conditioner. That's pretty loud. I can't think of anything else it could be. Could be crickets. There actually was, remember Buddy Holly, Ken? When Buddy Holly recorded one of the songs they did, there was a cricket making noise, and it got recorded. And they liked it so much they kept it on the recording. True fact. Well, this air conditioner sounds like it could sound like it's ticking of some kind. It's going to blow up. You got it from Uncle Mark, so that's a possibility. I thought we would get a lot more people tonight. I even posted in some of the groups on Facebook and Facebook itself on my newsfeed. One of the art places there I posted on. I mean, we had 6 here to begin with. I don't know where everybody went. Kind of tells me we probably did have a couple of new people. I was going to do a live last weekend, but I got kind of waylaid into doing something other things. Then I just got too tired. Kirsten, I'm still waiting to hear you play something on that ukulele. I do want to hear you play something. I found some tablature for a song I was learning a couple of days ago, really late at night. And the tab was for guitar, but the guy actually showed the tab for a ukulele too. with the chords for the song. Well, you'll always be practicing. That never stops. You are, huh? Well, that ought to be fun. So we'll have you and Sonia doing a duet, and you play the ukulele too. You get Sonia to learn how to play the guitar. Then you can have a good duet, guitar and ukulele. So I'm assuming you figured out how to tune it properly, since you got the right tuner for it. I was surprised. I thought you might bring it over and have me tune it for you at least once with it, but I guess you figured it out. She's interested in painting? Okay. Well, good. Well, she's subscribed. Like I was saying earlier before you guys got on, the best place to start here is to go to the community or the playlist and pull up the playlist that says for how to, and that's basically how to get started and what you're going to need to start painting. And I talked about the brushes, different brushes, how they're used, and how to make your own medium and stuff like that, all kinds of stuff. Well, good. I need somebody watching lots of videos. I'm going to make Ken watch them all again. All of them. All the way through, Ken. All the way through. Yeah, it's a really good place to start. And the color matching one for the color wheel, that's a very important one to learn. It's not hard. It's all basic stuff. I don't know what she wants to paint, but I definitely recommend painting landscapes first because they're easier to paint. Sierra was a little bit more difficult. She wanted to jump into just doing portraits. Portraits is a very, very difficult thing to jump right into. You're better off to learn how to do landscapes first because you get to learn how to paint with the different brushes. Tomorrow? I don't know. I have to figure out what to paint for one thing, and we're short a chair. I've only got 2 chairs over here. And enough room. I'm not sure I got enough room. Possibly. I don't know. I'd have to do some looking around to see what I could do to rearrange things a little bit. Acrylic would be easy to do, that's for sure. Because then you don't have to have an easel. You can paint right on the table itself. And then you got to find something to paint. Which I'm assuming would probably be a landscape. I guess there's some chairs outside over there somewhere. A smaller chair would be better, but we definitely gotta have one more chair. I have enough stuff to paint with. I mean, I got enough of the painting paper for acrylic and enough acrylic paint, enough brushes, all that stuff. Hey, Cadence, how you doing, sweetie? Good to see you on. Did Ariana share the stuff I sent to her about your great-great-grandmother in Maxfield Parish? Thanks, Tranny. Hey, Tranny, how you doing, sweetie? I'm glad you're good, Cadence. Is Ariana coming on too, or do you know Cadence? Well, so I don't know, Kirsten. Trini said I was mean when I was teaching her how to paint. Right, Trinity? She goes, if he wasn't my grandfather, I'd have walked out the door. Well, she might have decided to just beat me up if I wasn't her grandfather. You're tired and stressed? Excuse me. Are you stressed from work, Trinity? Well, I don't know, Ken. I painted a lot of seascapes. Um, I know you haven't seen them, but I've painted a bunch of them with elephants and I've done some with whales before, and you just haven't seen them. That's Waffle House for you. That's why it's called Drama City. And it gets worse if you're in any kind of management. When your grandmother worked there, Trinity, for years, uh, there was always something going on. There was always some kind of drama. Yeah, I bet you are. Happy to be off tomorrow. All your grandma want to do is just go in and do her shift and go home. But it was always something. He said, she said, she said, he said, she said, she said. It was all drama. Someone's standing there griping, so-and-so didn't do their job, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, and whatever. And always something. Look them dead in the eye and go, for talking, I get $50 an hour. Your time starts now. They'll probably walk away. Yeah, they're really good at trying to rope you into their drama. It'll never change. It's just the way the structure of the place is. Can you paint Disneyland with a bunch of people and rides and people playing games? You don't know what you're asking. The amount of detail in a picture like that would be phenomenal. And nobody would ever buy it. That's for sure. They just wouldn't. That's a painting that you'd have to work on for months. So it's pointless for this channel to do something like that because it would take forever to do it. And that would be something like God knows how many videos. I can't get people to watch one video now, the whole thing, much less watch 5 or 10 of them on a series. It just don't happen. And something now that size would have to be a really big canvas, which is pretty expensive. And the amount of paint and everything would be cost prohibitive, unless it was something that was a commission. I mean, that's when you do something at that level of expertise and a level of work, you really need to have a really good reason to paint it. You know, just besides just fun. I mean, if it's something you want to do for fun, and you're not trying to teach people, that's one thing. But when you're doing stuff to teach people, that's just way out of scope, something like that. But you kind of keep it pretty basic, because this is supposed to be for learning, people to learn to paint. And I don't have an advanced part of it yet. We have beginner, total newbie beginner, intermediate maybe, and a little advanced, only because of the portraits I did. There was one portrait. There's nothing really real advanced yet. Not that there won't be, but it wouldn't be something quite that big. Painting a lot of people is a lot of time. A lot of time. And if you do it on a smaller version, smaller scale, it's very difficult. Because then you got to get, you're working with really tiny brushes for the detail and stuff like that. It's just a lot. So you're talking probably like a 40 by 40. or maybe 36 by 36, something like that. Maybe even 30 by 30, size-wise. And then you've got to draw that. You've got to draw the whole thing first. That's going to be quite time-consuming too. But I like people come out with ideas, though. It's it's good to come out with ideas. Think of something more simple. That's because you've never tried, Ken. And you don't have any interest in trying. You pretty much made that clear. You've already cut yourself down to that you could never do it. I feel that you're wrong, but you could do it if you really wanted to. It's a matter of wanting to. Because I've already proved many, many times, over and over and over again, to a lot of people like you, Ken, that say they can't do it, and they actually did do it. They just had to want to. When I first started painting, I didn't think I could do it either. It didn't stop me from wanting to. Wanting to allows you to do it. You have to want to paint to be able to paint. You have to be willing to put yourself out there and try it, and try new things, and not give up. And you have to come to the realization that you're not going to do a great painting right off. It's going to take a while. It takes practice like anything else. That Buck Poulsen, he was on TV for about 25 or 30 years. And he was under William Alexander's, the German guy. He was on the same Channel 5 public station with him. Buck Poulsen was actually an athlete. He played basketball, football, baseball. He was into sports big time. Never picked up a paintbrush in his life. Never picked up a pencil. Couldn't draw a straight line. Same things that you said. Same things. Couldn't do none of it. Got injured playing football, I believe it was, and stuff. And one day he was just watching somebody paint. And he said in his mind, he said, I'm going to be a painter. That's what I'm going to do. And he did. Well, that's how you learn. You paint, and then you learn by your mistakes, and you learn by your accomplishments. It's not just by the mistakes. You learn when you accomplish things that you want to do when you paint. If you learn one thing every time you paint, which you probably will, excuse me, eventually you'll get to a certain level that you'll be able to paint with no problem at all. It'll be second nature to you. Believe me, when I first started painting, even when I did wet on wet to begin with, which I do traditional painting now too, and knife painting, but when I just did wet on wet, which is where I started, Bob Ross, Bill Alexander, I couldn't paint a freaking cloud to save my life. I couldn't. I had the hardest time painting clouds. Now I don't even think about it. I can paint clouds easily now. It's very, very easy. I was trying too hard. What I was doing was I was trying too hard. And I was trying to be too careful painting a cloud. You don't have to be careful painting the cloud. You just shoot the damn paint up there and spread it around and move it around, and you got a cloud. There's no set way a cloud looks. Certain trees I had trouble with. You should see some of my first paintings. They were horrible. They were god awful. I actually saved a few around somewhere, but I may have finally thrown them away or whatever. I might have burned them, but I did save some for a while to remind me where I started. You know, so you always tend to save your first ones anyway. For some people, keep them all their life, you know, but they can look back and see this is where I was when I started. Then 6 months down the road, you can look back at it, look at what you're doing now, and you will see you've improved. You will definitely see improvement. And you just keep going. But if you don't try, no, you'll never be able to paint. You have to want to try to paint. It's a great hobby. It's a great stress reliever. It's a really good hobby to have, you know, painting. And, you know, you can make a few dollars here and there on the side selling your paintings. Who knows? You may do better doing abstracts. Some people do. I know guys that made money doing abstracts. Just, you know, making squares and triangles and circles and lines here and there and whatever, and different colors. And they'd sell them and they'd make good money on them. But they didn't always get good ones because they had to learn what colors went with each other, color matching and stuff like that. Getting a balance, finding a nice, happy balance. Even an abstract painting has to have a balance to it. And you figure those things out. Nobody in this world can tell me they can't paint. There's videos out there of an elephant that can paint, for Christ's sakes. You can't tell me a human being can't do it. There's monkeys out there that paint, for Christ's sakes. Dogs. Tie the paintbrush to their tail and let them paint. I mean, there's little kids that are actually out there that paint probably better than I do. That are 8 or 10 years old. They just got a natural talent for it. You know, it's just like any hobby, you have to want to learn. Like playing guitar. I pick guitar. I've been playing guitar since I was 7 years old, and I still don't know how to play it. Not really. I know people that made me look stupid on the guitar. Excuse me. I mean, I can play some, feel point, yeah, a little bit of rhythm here and there, pick a little bit, but I know a lot of guys that make me look silly. In fact, I'm downright embarrassed to play with them because they're so good. And they played way less time than I have. I played since I was 7 years old. 59 years. I see guys that play for 3 or 4 or 5 years. It blow me away. But it's because they wanted to play more than I did. I was too lazy to learn music theory like they did, learn how to read music and learn how to do all the scales and stuff like that. Learn where all the notes were on a guitar. I didn't want to do all that. That was more than I wanted to do. I wanted to learn how to do a few chords, and that's what I learned. But lucky for me, you can learn four chords on a guitar, and you can play thousands and thousands of different songs with about 4 chords. Welcome back, Trinity. See, there you go again, making excuses, Ken. That's what I'm talking about. You gotta be more positive. Before I started painting, a baby could paint better than me too. I can't even draw anymore. When I was younger, I used to draw pretty well. But I don't draw anymore. I haven't drawn in years. When I do a painting, I'll do a simple sketch like the horizon. I'll make roughly where I want a mountain to go and a tree and whatever. It don't even look like it half the time. It's just I draw in the proportion to where I want things to be about, and that's it. That's all I do. The brush does the work. And that's the thing I try to stress on to everybody that wants to learn how to paint. Let the brush do the brush's job. You're just there to hold it and guide it to where you want that color to be. You know, what happens with the brush is whether it's at a point and you want to make a line, or you want to push it a little bit firmer and make the brushes spread apart a little bit and get like make grass or fur or whatever. I mean, there's so many different levels of what a brush is going to do. And it's just learning those things. How to use a knife. That was the other problem I used to have, learning how to use a knife. Because I would always try to push too hard with it. I had to learn how to be gentle. But you know, it was a common mistake for a lot of people. I wasn't the only one. I wanted to push it harder. Then I get all this big gob of paint out. It wasn't spreading apart like it needed to be. And when I finally decided I wanted to learn how to paint with that knife to do mountains or whatever, I ended up throwing away a lot of paint because I'd get a big canvas. I'd do the blue background, and I'd draw about where I wanted the mountains to be. And I just started using that knife and practicing with it. Learning how to make those mountains look right. Then when I was done, I'd scrape it all off. I'd save some of it, make it a dark mountain mixture, and use it again. Then I'd just do some other highlight colors and try it again until I finally figured it out. The same with clouds. I already told you, I couldn't paint a cloud to save my life. So I finally had to just do the same thing. I wasted canvas, and wasted paint, but that's the way you got to do it. If you don't grasp it right off, you have to find a way to figure out how to do it. I'm surprised Sierra doesn't come on anymore, Trinity. I mean, I know she likes to paint, so that's one of the reasons I always figured she would come by, at least ask me questions here. She definitely asks them to me on Facebook sometimes. The little booger. So Kirsten, is Sonia still here? You guys still here? Yes, I varnish her. She fell asleep. We lulled her to sleep, the poor thing. I wasn't even using my soft Bob Ross voice either. That's what happens when I watch Bob Ross on TV. I fall asleep. Well, yep, I varnish them, Ken. If you're using oil paint doesn't dry for up to 6 months. But they're dry to touch within a couple of weeks or so. Gently touch. So they're not thoroughly dry for 6 months. I never wait that long, but usually 3 or 4 months at the most. Sometimes I'll spray a light coat of varnish over the top of it. A lot of times I will do that, even when it's a little bit still wet. And then I can help preserve it and keep anything from contaminating it or whatever, help protect it. Hey, Mackenzie. I was just telling Kirsten I was hoping you might come by. How's your new job coming? You get all your certifications? You must be working by now, I would think. I know you got one class you said you passed already. I was kind of hoping Wesley would come on today and Chris Anna, but they didn't come on. I'm surprised. It's been a slow night. We've only had 6 people on at once. Of course, some people left and now they come back in, but who knows? Have you run a store by yourself? Wow. Are you doing any repairs yet, or if it's minor ones? If you run a store by yourself, I assume you can sell phones, at least, and set them up. You have them set up for people. I thought about applying to the place in Alachua. Because I have all them computer certifications and all that stuff. And I've worked on tablets and laptops and desktops many, many times. Yeah, I know that's what I was talking about. I was talking about going to a lodge or calling in to see about applying over there as a technician. Because I got my A plus certification, network certification. I've got 30 certifications in the computer field. Plus, I do programming in FileMaker Pro, Advanced. I've written programs. I wrote the program for the state of Florida for group homes. I'm certified in just about every Windows there is. I'm really familiar with DOS. I went the certification for DOS for brainbench.com. So I was hoping maybe they could maybe give me some part-time work or something. Even if I am old. Have you talked to Wesley lately? And Kirsten, you and Sonia will have to come over and talk to me sometime tomorrow about painting. And we'll discuss it because we may have to wait if she comes on the next Saturday or something. So you got a couple of days to finish it. I wouldn't want you to start it and then not finish it. Now, liquid clear is a medium. You mix it with liquid clear. You seal a paint with varnish. You can get a spray varnish or what's called a conservative. You can get a satin finish or a gloss finish, or you can brush it. Acrylic you can do within an hour or two when you're done. Oil, you have to wait a lot longer. Do you have anything to paint with, Trinity? Like paints and brushes and all that stuff? I think I just heard earlier that it's Mother's Day tomorrow. I didn't get a card for Nana. I'm going to be up a creek without a paddle tomorrow. Well, did you frame the picture that we painted here, Trinity? Did you frame it and hang it up? But as I recall, it was only like a 8.5 by 11 painting, something like that. Why don't you like acrylic? Because it dries so fast? Is that why? Because like I showed you, you use a mister bottle to keep the paint wet. That's the biggest problem with it, is that it dries so fast. But you can get extender. Extender, you put a couple of drops in the paint and mix it up, and it makes it last a lot longer before it dries up. But I prefer oil because that's what I was used to. Excuse me. But I've done some good paintings in acrylic. The one I did of Uncle Chris was done in acrylic. The one I did of Kirsten's dad, Sean, was in acrylic. You know, a lot of times acrylic to me works better if you do it in glazes. My glazes, I mean, add water to it and just do thin coats of paint many times until you get to the color you want. If you're using, say, Prussian blue, you can start out with just a thin mixture of it, lay it down. It looks really, it'll look like watercolor then. And you just darken it a little bit each time until you get to where you want it to be. And you can change it that way. You can also, if it gets too dark, you can lighten it up a little bit and paint over it again. That's a big advantage of it. And it dries so much quicker. I've gotten so that if I'm doing a commission now, I try to do it in acrylic because it dries so fast. It'll dry in just an hour or two, whatever. I can go and varnish it, get the frame it, and sell it right then and there. Excuse me. Well, yeah, oil does have a big advantage on landscapes. I feel it does anyway, but I know people that do landscapes with acrylic that do probably as good as I do, if not better, with acrylic. There are mediums you can use that will extend it and make things blend better and stuff like that. But I probably will always be, I probably always prefer oil over acrylic. But I still want to broaden my horizons and do acrylic too, so. Yeah, this year went by pretty fast, Ken, without a doubt. And we've got Halloween and Thanksgiving coming up pretty soon, and it just seems like just a couple of months ago it was Thanksgiving from last year. The biggest thing with oil now is try to use odorless thinner. You keep it covered when you're not using it, because it really did affect my lungs a lot. Everybody knows how mine are. Of course, smoking didn't help either, but also inhaling them mineral spirits fumes all the time in an enclosed room really did take a lot out of my lungs. I've always wanted to do watercolor too, but I like watercolor. It looks okay, but excuse me, the watercolor is a lot of work. Well, yeah, I use mineral spirits when I'm painting, Ken. Yeah, all the time. I still do. But I can make an acrylic paint look like a watercolor paint. Just by, like I said earlier, you can just add a little more water to it, a little bit of medium, and thin it out more. But a lot of people that do watercolor, they don't use a thin mixture. They actually do use a thicker mixture, but it's watercolor. It looks just as thick as acrylic or oil. It also dries like super fast too. Excuse me. Most of my grandkids I've painted with before. I don't think I did with Mackenzie, did I, Mackenzie? I never painted with you, did I? I never painted with Kirsten before. Not necessarily can. It could. It won't mess up the paper in a minute. The paper you use to paint with is a lot thicker. It's like at least 120 bond or higher. It's like a canvas paper. If I'm using for acrylic. If it's oil, I usually use just canvas. If you use canvas, you get worried about ever having too thick a paint. I know guys that prefer using thick paint. Yeah, some of this paper canvas is up to 140 pounds. Pretty heavy stuff. But what I like about using the paper though is you can cut down the size if you want of it. And you can mat it. You can do a mat which goes around the picture itself and then put a frame on top of that. So the presentation a lot of times it looks a lot better because the pictures, it's been varnished and it's got a mat on it. Then it's got the frame on top of it, and it's enclosed in glass. Oil, you do not use glass ever. Never, ever use a glass frame with oil. You'll ruin it. I'm gonna fall asleep. I know there's people who will paint when I'm wet, like Bob Ross with acrylic paint. That's pretty thick. I've tried it a little bit. You can do it. You're 10 minutes behind. I think I was lagging that dang much. I checked the connection earlier. It was pretty good. It wasn't bad. I just saw your message. It said 11:34, so you're right there. Let me see what the speed test shows. I guess Velvet didn't make it on tonight either, or Nancy. Well, we really get good service over here either, so I would bias that. Mother was tired, huh? They worked their butt off. Of course, she got up pretty early this morning, too. Yeah, this connection's not too bad. It's, geez, download speed is, wow, phenomenal. 18.18 megabits per second download. Wow. Upload is 4.50, which is 1.50 higher than what they even say you can get for the Max. So it's actually more than what it's supposed to be, way more. But it shouldn't have more than a 2 or 3 second lag. Mackenzie, did you leave? My goodness, you leave without even saying goodbye. Little bugger. All right, guys, it's been over an hour, so I think we'll go ahead and shut it down. We've only got a few people here now anyway. Just to see what's Ken, Kirsten, and me, Trinity. So y'all have a good night. I appreciate y'all coming, and we'll catch you the next time, okay? And hopefully we can get some more people in here somehow. I ain't figured out how yet, but hopefully we will. Good night, Trinity. Good night, Kirsten. And good night, Ken. Have a good night. Y'all stay safe and stay healthy. Bye-bye now.